Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jared
My name is Tracy.
and our editor is Katie, and we hope you enjoy our presentation for our EDC 1200 project. Okay, thank you ladies and gentlemen for turning up to this important staff meeting. I see we've all got the memo.
Yes, we have.
Okay. Today I'd like to discuss the issue of one of our international students, which is Mohammed. He's come into the school and is finding it very difficult to actually make any friends. He's described himself as feeling lonely, not fitting in, and all the probably normal issues that you get from a student coming into a different cultural background experience.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jared. I have noticed him in the playground and he seems to not be assimilating with the other students. Unfortunately, due to the fact that he's from another culture and we don't have too many other students that are from South Africa, that we may need to help him settle into the school so that he actually can form an identity with the students. Unfortunately, if you don't have something in common with another person, that you can feel that the differences separate you, and so he needs to be able to show the other students that he is just like they are. He's a lovely young man, and once they get to know him, hopefully that it'll open some communication up, and the differences in their culture won't seem to matter anymore. I actually found a book that I thought may be helpful in planning some lesson plans and maybe a theme for a week for our grade 2 students, since we both teach grade 2. And the book's actually called The Sandwich Swap, and it's written by Queen Rana of Jordan. And she actually talks in there about the differences between a white girl from America and herself from Jordan, and what it was like for these two students to actually be together at school. And they look at the differences there of the clothes that they wear and the food that they eat. And once they realise that they're just two little girls, and they actually start getting along. So I thought that this lovely story could be a theme that we could work on to show differences to our students, and that we're all really the same. What do you think about that?
I'd have to agree. I believe that learning about different cultures, and in Mohammed's case, if the students learn a little bit more about his African culture, and also Mohammed and the other students in our classroom studying about cultures like Egyptian cultures, more to the African cultures, the Japanese cultures.
Oh yes, I saw you brought those in.
And the Chinese cultures, all different cultures around the world. I mean, we also can't forget our close neighbours to the south, New Zealand. They have a lot of history behind them, and I think it'll be really extremely relevant to have all these students learn about different cultures and participate in activities and have food ideas where we can bring different food from different backgrounds. So one student can bring stuff from Italy, some stuff can bring from Chinese cultures.
Oh, that's a good
Japanese,
idea.
just to integrate with each other and show different examples of how we all live together in the one area, but we don't have to be ashamed of our backgrounds and who we really are as people.
Well, that'd be good, Jared. I think we've just started on a good plan to what we can do with our grade 2 students. Maybe we could have a combined lesson where we could read the book and talk about differences in others and cultural and identity, and where the students come from, and celebrate their own family identity. So maybe we could do a group lesson, and then we could have some activities afterwards. I brought in some pictures. Maybe we could get the grade 2 students to draw a picture of themselves expressing how proud they are of who they are, and we could display those on the wall. And maybe from the different cultures, we've got some Italian students and some Asian students, maybe we could do some posters up celebrating, like we have there on the South African one. We could help Mohammed out by doing some posters up. Another item that I thought of is maybe we could talk to Mohammed's parents. I'm sure they've got some rich cultural items that they could bring in. maybe we could discuss those and bring them into the classroom, like a show and tell day of the cultures of the students. So not just Muhammad, some of the Asian students might be able to bring some things in, and we could have a day where we could share these cultural ideas and display them in the classroom. What do you think about that?
Yes, it sounds like an extraordinary idea to have everyone bring their own heritage into a classroom so that students get an understanding that even though we're all different, we all live together in one community, so we need to accept that we're different from each other and that everyone maybe has differences and similarities, but all together, if we stop looking at the negative side of difference, we could actually create a very happy, supportive environment and create new relationships between these students, which can influence other students and their parents to get along with these other cultures. I find it amazing that students get very influenced by parents on culture and stuff like that, and I think if we can educate by the younger students and they can explain this to their parents, and so begins the long chain of recovering and creating relationships between different cultures. And to focus more on the theme week, you can do a lot with the performing arts. You can do traditional dances of each culture, you can do art making, and even then you can do ideas. So for some of the international students from overseas, they can actually get involved in some of the Australian Indigenous culture that we have here. So artworks, trying some of the techniques on how they used to survive and live off the land, going on excursions to rainforests with explorers. So organise a group of students to go to these rainforests and see how the Indigenous people lived, so we can openly share what we have to offer, and the students who are international can share what they have to offer to us.
Very good ideas. We are a multicultural society, and I think, as you said, if we can teach our students tolerance for difference, then I think that we're on a really good plan of helping young Muhammad settle into our school and gain some friendships there. And I think in getting the parents involved, we should do a letter up for the parents to tell them we're going to have a multicultural day, and we'll have a day where everyone can bring in some food and celebrate their cultures. And I also think it's going to be a good idea for students who to learn a little bit about their backgrounds, maybe 2 and 3 generations back. Maybe they had people come from Germany or France or England, and learn a bit about their culture too, so that they're not feeling like, well, Muhammad's from South Africa and I'm just from Australia.
It's a bit of a wall, a barrier that seems to be blocking the connection between these students, and by having these activities, as we said, cultural days, where we do different activities for different cultures, trying to break down the barrier that's been set up maybe by some influencing factors like their parents or their religion or the environment they live in. And I believe that if we can break the barrier down, the connections will start to form, the students will feel more comfortable with each other, and their interactions will improve a lot more. Yeah,
and I think all the news and information about Muslim students hasn't helped in, people can be scared because they don't understand or they have no knowledge, and we need to look at those issues.